As you all know, the chairman of the Council of the Americas, Andrés Gluski, Dr. Andrés Gluski, is also the president of the AES Corporation, and he is here to present our Chairman's Award to the honoree. So please join me in welcoming Andrés Gluski.
Well, thank you, Eric, and good afternoon to all of you. It's a privilege to be joined today by a great defender of freedom and democracy in our hemisphere, the Secretary General of the Organization of American States, Luis Almagro. And it's an even greater honor to be able to present the Secretary General with the Chairman's Award for Leadership in the Americas. This award is special for the Council of the Americas because it is reserved for democratically elected leaders in the Western Hemisphere who have shown an outstanding commitment to the Americas. Previous recipients include Chairman Greg Meeks, the late Senator John McCain, and the Inter-American Development Bank President Enrique Iglesias. Luis Almagro stands out, even among this august group, for his long-time dedication to human rights and democracy. Leading the premier multilateral political organization in the only region in the world with a democratic charter, Luis has made it his personal mission to secure adherence to the principles of what he calls the Constitution of the Americas across our hemisphere. Over now his more than 7 years at the helm of the OAS, the Secretary General has been without equal in championing the rights of the people in our hemisphere, standing up to dictators and promoting democracy. We live in a time when democratic institutions are under threat. Even the OAS itself isn't immune to these attacks, as just happened with Nicaragua last week. We're seeing basic human rights routinely trampled with seeming impunity, not only in our hemisphere, but across the globe. Luis has not been cowed by any of his critics, but continues to call out anti-democratic leaders who violate the trust of those they should be serving, whether in Nicaragua, Venezuela, or Cuba, or anywhere else in our hemisphere. Mr. Secretary General, the world needs more leaders like you. We applaud your principles, and we're grateful for the sacrifices you have made and continue to make on our behalf as citizens of the Americas to promote our welfare, our rights, and our freedoms. It is indeed a great pleasure for me and for all of my colleagues at the Council of the Americas to present to you the 2022 Chairman's Award for Leadership in the Americas. Mr. Secretary.
Andrés, thank you very much for your kind words. I'm moved by the recognition and confidence that you and your colleagues at the Council have always shown me. Susan and Eric, thank you for your continued friendship and support. Friends, ambassadors, colleagues, it is an honor to join those individuals who have received the Council of the Americas Chairman Award for Leadership in the Americas. Each of our countries, unique in our cultural experiences and histories, stand at different stages of democratic consolidation. We should be united in our recognition that democracy is an indispensable condition for the stability, peace, and development of the region. We should be committed to turning this belief into reality for all the peoples of our countries. Authoritarian practices, old and new, still find a foothold in our region. This means that our commitment must be stronger. The modern roadmap towards dictatorship is through an incremental approach, slowly corrupting, co-opting, and dismantling democratic institutions in order to guarantee power at any cost. The task before us is not only about drawing attention to this dangerous path. It is about how we make democracy stronger, how we reinforce and stabilize democratic processes, and how we help them our societies achieve effective governance and development. Our permanent commitment should not only be to confront the practices and actions of dictatorships in the hemisphere, but should especially be to do what is necessary to make the best possible democracies in the region. This is not only a test of how we confront authoritarian practices like the erosion or co-opting of the judiciary, the electoral authorities, or freedom of expression, but how we help to resolve the structural problems of inequality, poverty, and violence, how we ensure more inclusive and better education, how we should be promoting innovation, and how should we create better economic and social systems. Confronting the actions of authoritarians and authoritarianism is not unique to the Western Hemisphere. It is a trend taking place around the world as kleptocratic regimes have built global networks of corruption, crimes, and repression. It is this tension we see playing out in Ukraine right now as the global community is confronted with the question of whether we want a world where might makes right. At the OAS, we have made our position clear and reaffirmed our long-standing commitment to the principles of international law. This was a natural continuation of a long-standing juridical tradition in our hemisphere that has resulted in the forward-leaning and sophisticated regional system of international law and international institutions reflected in the majority of our region modern constitutions. It is no accident that it was the Inter-American system that produced the groundbreaking Inter-American Democratic Charter. This document was the first of its kind, establishing a clear definition of democracy within the framework of law and enshrining as a right for all the people of the Americas. The veritable Constitution of the America not only incentivized adherence, but also created a responsibility, an obligation on the part of its signatories to act where there is alteration or rupture to the constitutional democratic order in our community. What you say in your word is leadership is just commitment, responsibility. Our commitment to this document is the basis for the word I humbly accept today. At the core of that commitment is our belief in Article 6 of the Charter that says, it is the right and responsibility of all citizens to participate in decisions related to their own development. I believe today's award reflects your shared belief in this statement and your willingness to work together to achieve this goal. We must not shy away from using the tools at our disposal to reinforce our commitment to these principles that are essential to our shared prosperity. We have created the tools and mechanisms that reinforce and strengthen democracy in the hemisphere and must be willing to use them. These tools are available even when the global system fails to or is unable or unwilling to act. However, this is not a responsibility that lies solely with politicians and public servants. Private citizens, social institutions, and the corporate sector must all assume responsibility for the role they play in supporting free and democratic societies. To that end, I would like to commend the work of the Council of the Americas has done to use the voice of business to promote democracy in the Americas. Time and again, the people of the Americas have chosen the path of collaboration and cooperation. They have chosen the path of democracy. But we must all do our part to ensure that will remain true in the future. Thank you.